So once again, everybody is very quick to shut Nunu down, but all I want to know is where's Reva? Because I need her word of wisdom when it comes to this very sensitive and crucial topic of racism and colorism, mainly colorism, which nobody said on the show.
Because white guys treat black women better than black
White men treat.
Wait, what's it again? I didn't even hear it, bro. I was zoned out. I was like, wait.
And in the industry, that's how it is. I'm not saying it's a good thing.
Industry.
Footballers, the sports. No, I'm not done. So basically, what I'm trying to say white girls, but they will marry a black woman.
Who says white girls?
They will marry a black girl.
That what? That black men are saying they're gonna marry white women.
All I'm trying to say is I'm here. I'm in New York. Bkchat New York cars. Where you at, B? Because you're not trying to come for me, and you're not trying to do the absolute most. So where you at? Come around the corner, because I'm here. Like, no, these times in my next video, I'll be having 2 black eyes, not 1. So let me pipe down. Hey guys, it's Marwan. Hope you guys are all doing well today. So we have a brand new episode of Bkchat Ldn, and we have the topic of colorism, topic that I spoke about, which I wanted them to speak about, and I'm glad that they have. But I do feel like this conversation could have been constructed in a more orderly manner, because I do feel like everybody was just shouting and coming in with different edgeword words, mainly out of confusion and frustration. And I do feel like a lot of people, such as Sia from the girls and Adrian from the boys, really did outshine everybody else because they really did think before they spoke. That's very crucial in life, especially in debate. You need to think before you speak. Do not think to respond. Think to understand. That quote itself is very powerful, and I do feel like it is related to this particular episode.
I think that comes from society's conditioning, because that's what's portrayed to us. For example, when you watch an advert, it's a lighter skinned girl. This is stuff that happens over a period of time and we become normalized to it.
Yeah.
So let's get straight into it. I feel like I agree with Adrian mostly when he talks about how fetishization occurs so much that people don't even know it's occurring. And fetishization of a race is a direct form of sexual racism.
Fetish comes in when you specifically say this is the type, like, so you know when you say, oh, I only date blonde white girls, and so you fetishize that.
Comes into certain communities. I personally don't like speaking on a community that I'm not part of, because I don't feel like I'm entitled to do so, whether it be the black community, the white community. I can only speak on my community. I can't say, oh, you know, certain black men see this, that, and this bad, you know, because I'm not part of that community to be speaking on it in such a manner, if that makes sense. I can make my observations, but that's only I can do. I am limited to do so because I'm not black. So therefore, I shouldn't be making comments on certain people, whether they're black men or women, because I'm not black. So therefore, who do I really have the entitlement to do so? I don't think I do. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I do feel like certain shades of people, regardless of culture, whether you're a lighter shade, you are seen as something more appealing, better, you're more successful in life, in terms of the fact that you're given more opportunities and chances to be successful, only because you're more lighter than opposed to being more darker. Now that's also seen in many communities, i.e. the black community as well, where you would see, I'm only talking observation, that's my limitation, but you see, you know, whether it be lighter shades of men or whether it be lighter shades of women, they can be either expressed as a form of deviance or expressed as a form of, you know, or this person's gonna take my life away, or this person is more attractive than the darkest trait, or this person is really more successful in life. And that really is because this form of colorism, which is in this community, is doused in forms of white supremacy and Eurocentric forms of beauty, where we look at people who are lighter shades and see they are more attractive. You can see them as more sexually deviant per se, but at the end of the day, they are still seen as more attractive as people. And this is to do with white supremacy. This is to do with Eurocentric forms of beauty, where Afrocentric is more so dismissed, seen as ugly, seen as annoying, seen as disgusting, vile, not attractive. Like really and truly, that has been the majority of the time how it's been, which is an absolute shame. But I think that's where it's seen from, and that's why when I say white supremacy, it's so powerful that it is in all communities. Now, you can even have it in the Arab communities, where obviously there are darker skinned people. Child, we know this. Whether it's been darker skinned Arabs are completely seen as, you know, not really as a form of abundance of beauty, as opposed to light skinned Arabs, whether it be, you know, white Arabs, whether it be light brown Arabs, like per se my skin color, who knows, I don't know. What that could be in the Latin community as well. It can also be, you know, it's in every community, because every community is entrenched and drenched in white supremacy. Dare I say it, not just white supremacy, but you have Arab supremacy as well, because I do feel like the Arab slave trade of certain people took place. What people don't understand is the Arab slave trade of certain people, such as black people, took place way before the white slave trade. People will just completely forget, but that's just dismissed. So a lot of that's been going on in the Arab world far before the white slave trade even began, and even that happened. So I feel like it's everywhere. Mainly black people get the brunt of it. That's just the absolute truth. And I'm happy that Adrian brought on the topic of fetishization of how the idea of preferences and how preferences become changed because you're becoming obsessed with a particular person because of how they look. You are fetishizing them, you are objectifying them. It is a direct form of sexual racism, whether you like it or not. It can be a positive affirmation and negative affirmation. It does not matter. They're both seen as a form of fetishization. Now, you could argue that we're becoming more sensitive now. I don't think it's that. We're just more aware, more understood about stuff, more educated. You're able to see it more, you acknowledge it more. Therefore, you're able to protect yourself and speak up about it. I wouldn't say people are becoming more sensitive. I don't feel like that is the issue at hand here. People are just correcting what needs to be corrected in terms of being able to speak about it. You need to question where your preferences come from. Like, there's a deeper rooted meaning as to why, because you are conditioned. And this is where Sia comes into it. We are conditioned to like and dislike certain things from when we are very young age. We see it on TV, we see it on billboards, social media, whatever. We see it everywhere. We are conditioned in a certain way because of certain management techniques of certain businesses, etc. So that awareness is a very crucial point of understanding and a very focal point to kind of change those preferences, and you can be in control rather than letting your preferences control you in relation to the fact that you're only into this person because you just are, and that's just how you are. No, it's not how you are. More time that's how you're conditioned, but you don't even know because it's subconscious. So I'm very glad that Sia and Adrian kind of brought on this information, and this whole idea of the football industry, which I feel like was a very interesting point that Nunu made that I didn't expect.
Light-skinned women for image because they feel like light-skinned because they feel like if I have a light-skinned woman, it's associated. They'll say that the footballer is a better player.
Where did you get that?
No, I've had it. Footballers judge men based on their women.
Somebody to make such a whole different perspective where in the football industry, mainly certain types of men would only date light people because of image. Now, if it is image and because of how it looks, there's a deeper root meaning of self-hatred, again, down in white supremacy. Now, I don't know, I think Max was talking about how he would want his kids to be a different shade of him, and I feel like that in itself is a form of self-hatred that is very deeply subconscious that you don't even know is self-hatred. Because why would you want to have children that look different to you? You're therefore fetishizing babies because they look cute at a certain age or whatever, or you're understanding that there's more self-hatred. In my opinion, if I do have babies, if I do find a person, etc., I want them to be the same shade skin color as me. But at the same point, who knows who I might meet? You don't know who you might meet as any form of race. I'm open to all, and you just don't know. So it could be any other shade just by chance. But to be looking and to be ciphering out, to find people to have babies with a different shade of complexion to you, definitely speaks of inner, subconscious, deep self-hatred, doused in forms of Eurocentric forms of beauty and white supremacy, which we are all very aware of, consciously or subconsciously. So I feel like that was a bit of an understatement. And to this point that Nunu made, where white men treat black women better than black men, I do understand why all the men in the cast got very upset about it. Because
try to put out down their own race because of other white girls who are being loose or doing all of this and this. That's just wrong.
But I also think black women also do a good job of making black men look bad, because it's never there are some bad black men in the world, but there's some men that do this. It's like,
because what the problem is with Nunu is, I feel, is her deliverance is very off-putting. She doesn't know how to deliver her point in an effective, calm, efficient manner. She just speaks it, and we've seen that in season 2. And sometimes they can really put people off. At the same time, they shouldn't really shut her down. But can you really blame them if they're making such off-putting quotes and points with such poor delivery? It could be the truth. There could be white men who are treating black women better, and that could be i.e. because they just simply do, or because they're fetishizing them, or simply because they've lived a whole different life to a black person. A black person and a white person live completely different lives based on different challenges around them. Mainly black people more as opposed to white people, and that's just a fact. So I do find that I can't really comment in depth as much as I can for that particular comment, because I'm not a black person or a white person. I can't really comment for both. But maybe they should think of my personal experiences, and you can question why. Why would that be happening? But rather as opposed to why, she's more so attacked and shut down, especially by Omar, who's very quick off the bat to be shutting down every remark. And it's like, what are you adding to the show? what you adding. Like we've discussed this plenty of times on my channel, so I'm not going to really dive deep into what is he doing because we've discussed that. So I do feel like he's very quick off the bat to just shut me down 24/7, and it's just annoying. Like I don't understand it. It's off-putting. But I do feel like B-Money was quite upset in this episode, and he was definitely hit hard by the comments I was making, and he made another speech talking about how he wants a black queen to be with her, to be with him, and 50-50 they work together, and that type of strong mentality I feel like it's a good mentality to have. Work with your partner, build together, link up together. In the world that we live in, everything's about sex, everything's about image. Nobody wants to talk in depth, get along. Put the phones away. Really just interact with core depth. It's like nobody really wants to do that as much anymore from what we're seeing. Everything's based on image. So I feel like certain stuff like that can be quite impactful more than we know. At the end of the day, I do feel like darker skinned females get it the worst. It's a shame. It's the bare brunt of it. They face more challenges than anybody else in the world. I do feel like black females have it worse than black men. That's just my observation. I do feel like they get it worse. They face more challenges. I do feel like their treatments are bad. Not that black men don't face anything, because they do. Most definitely more than anybody. Anybody that's not white obviously faces challenges here and there because of the degree of whiteness that people don't have. But at the same time, really and truly, black people get it the worst. Black females get it the worst, and it is a damn shame. It's horrible. It's not right. It's disgusting. But unfortunately, that's how the world works, and hopefully that will be changing. And I feel like there is a shift, but it's very small at this moment of time. But I do feel like the whole idea of dark-skinned ladies, they get it the worst, and black men and men in general need to just acknowledge that. I think that is something that needs to be acknowledged first, that black females get it the worst. That's not taking away from any struggle that any other man or black man gets. Hell to the damn no. I don't feel like that. But I do feel like that needs to be acknowledged, that black females get it the worst. They get the worst treatment. They are seen as a whole different light. They face a lot more challenges. That is the whole idea of colorism, where light-skinned females, whether they're black or not, they have their own challenges like everybody does, but nobody has more than a dark-skinned black female, and that's just a bitter fact. So really and truly, if a dark-skinned black female has more issues or not, then you really should just sit down and listen to their struggles more so than anybody else's. Not that anybody else's struggles are minimized or they're not painful or they're completely different. 110% no, I'm not taking away from anybody's pain or their struggles, but nobody faces more struggles than a black female. Therefore, if she faces more struggles than anybody else, you should be more likely to just listen to their struggles and understand them, if that makes sense. Because unfortunately there is a hierarchy, and when there's hierarchy, everybody has their struggles, but black females get it the worst, so therefore they should be ones that should be listened to more so than often than light-skinned black females, or black men, or brown men, or East Asian, or Latino, or white, whatever it is, European, Caucasian, whatever it is. I do feel like they get it the worst, so therefore they should be the ones who should be listened to first more than anybody else. I do feel like Ramla really does bounce off the whole idea of the reflections of colorism that are pertain to culture, where lighter skin colours of Somalis in her culture are treated differently to dark skin colours. And again, this is down in white supremacy. So much conditioning and subconsciousness is going on in this that you don't even know it's happening. that's just how you think. There are reasons for everything. There are reasons why people think the way they do. And I feel like indefinitely in cultures there is so much. Indefinitely in cultures there is such a problem with colorism. It's actually so mad, and nobody speaks up about it, which is the first step to have some form of awareness and change. That fair-skinned people are treated differently to dark-skinned people, and it is disgusting. What is the reason that's going on here? And as I've said, this is Eurocentric form of beauty that's just everywhere. People are bleaching their skin. I feel like racism and colorism are two completely separate, different entities, which I feel like this episode people weren't able to distinguish, but they are most definitely two intrinsically linked and related together. Now, I kind of, I like Malika. I feel like she's one of those girls who really hasn't had the time to actually shine and grab an episode with her two bare hands, mainly because either she is so conscious with putting up a good character as a person to be liked on the show that she kind of gets lost in the woods, or because there are big personalities around her, whether it's Nunu, Riva, Esther, Lucas, or I don't know what it is, but I feel like she hasn't really grabbed an episode with her two bare hands yet. And this episode, I feel like she's making good points, and I'm glad that she was. But at times she was shouting a lot, and I don't know what it was, but it was just annoying, just interjecting sometimes, and really just shouting. I'm like, can you not?
Image! That is the biggest problem! You're getting with someone purely for image!
So
story short, this whole idea of colorism that's in the black community, in every other community, but mainly the black community, is because of white supremacy, is because of Eurocentric forms of beauty that we are all conditioned to at a very young age, up until the last few days that we are living. And it is definitely impactful to the point where, you know, these problems are so prevalent in community now more than ever. And I do feel like this is an issue, and I'm glad people spoke about it in this debate. It wasn't really all constructed in a clear or efficient manner. People weren't able to understand the differentiation between racism and colorism in this episode, which I'm upset to know. But at the same time, it's something that's definitely been going on from the point of where certain images were painted lighter shades of white back in European culture, to the point of Jesus being white. Like, it is everywhere. These are my small little points on colorism and racism and how it's definitely poignant in cultures, which I'm glad Romana brought up. Sia and Adrian like their points the most. Bkchat Ldn was a bit confused. He doesn't really understand the depth or analysis of certain comments. He really just speaks before he thinks. I did feel like Bimani's speech at the end, which I kind of like. Nuna's comment about white men treating better, why would that be a case? Would it be because they just don't face the same struggles as a black man? Black men face way more struggles than white men. So it's because they don't face as much struggles, therefore life's different, and therefore black men are put down in so many different ways, conditioning, or they fetishize the race, who knows? But I feel like that comment is very interesting, so if anybody would like to comment down on what Nunu said, I'll be very interested to read, understand, educate myself. Let me know what you guys think on my particular review. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll most definitely catch you guys soon.